नमस्तभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Yes, please. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? Inform the link and we move ahead. Yes, please. Yes. Anybody? Yes. Can someone recollect it? Anything that we saw last?
Yeah, Lord Krishna says that he exists in everybody in uniformity. Now, he's neither inimical nor partial, but only people who love him unconditionally and worship him reside in him, and he resides in that person. And even if the most immoral or the most nasty sinners worship him with exclusive devotion, they also are considered to be on the right path as they have made the proper resolve.
No, it is actually they can get transformed, is what we can say. Just
Yeah, yeah.
worshipping alone will not
Yeah, I'm going to say
guarantee.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon
No.
they become righteous and virtuous and they become one with me. No devotee of mine is ever lost.
Ji, ji. Yes, Abhinav ji.
Whatever their birth, race, caste, gender, or standing in the society, they will surely attain consciousness or supreme knowledge and everlasting peace.
Ji.
So he says, always worship me, think of me, be devoted to me, and dedicate everything, including your mind and body, to me. This will certainly unite you with me.
Ji.
Then we move on to chapter 10, where Lord Krishna says to Arjuna that being his dearest friend, he will reveal his divine teachings to him as he wishes that Arjuna benefits from that. So, Lord Krishna says that he's the source of all celestial gods and great sages, and those who recognize me as unborn and beginningless, and as the supreme Lord of the universe, they are the ones who are free from illusion and free from all the sins.
Ji.
So, through Shraddha and Bhakti, all these people, they channelize their joys and sorrows in the right path, and vice versa. And I mean, the Lord also takes care of them. From
Yes,
me
ji.
alone are born the qualities in mortal, that is the intellect, the knowledge, the forgiveness, truthfulness, control over the senses and mind, joy, sorrow, birth and death, fear and courage, non-violence, clarity, form, contentment, creation, and destruction. I mean, some qualities. Sadhana can be done by cultivating all these qualities, and one can obtain realization or consciousness ultimately.
Ji. Through the qualities we can reach. We can reach towards the divine.
Yeah.
They are the lakshanas, if we can say, of the divinity in the Bholoka. Means, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu means, oh goddess among all the living beings. How can I recognize you? Shakti Rupena Sansita. You are present as Shakti. So your Shakti is where I can recognize. The Shakti is visible, isn't it? If we are conscious or if we observe in the world also, it is wherever we go, we can recognize. In Shanti, in Trishna, there are so many places we can see. This qualities thus become a means. And Krishna talked about ahimsa also. So those who say Krishna was not ahimsavadi, they are wrong. But then what did Krishna do? He told Arjuna to read poetry to Duryodhana, isn't it? After Gita. No. Krishna asked him to perform his duty, but that does not become himsa. Performing duty is not himsa for a soldier, isn't it? Just as it is not himsa when a doctor operates on a patient. What is he doing? He's cutting, isn't it? He he uses knives. Sometimes he uses very strong cocktail of chemicals. What is chemotherapy ultimately? It's killing so many. So sometimes radiation is there. Radiation is important. So isn't that himsa? Well, again, there is a desha, there is a kala, there is a paristhiti. But there, when we are doing that, I think that time, if we are attached, if we are emotional, then you create new sanskaras. You sometimes get trapped. Means many times while operating, my friend who is a colorectal surgeon in the UK, he said he practices detachment before the operation. He said, I purposely don't try to talk to the patients too much. I don't want to develop a familial or any relation. Sometimes even in a few conversations, you get attached to some people. So he said, I don't want that. I consciously try not to get attached. My efforts are there. When I asked him, why do you do that? He said, I don't want to remember the emotions or anything while I'm operating on that patient. Because what will happen then? If emotions come in, what happens to a surgeon's knife? It will not be accurate, isn't it? It will move somewhere else. So there he has to keep that. So Krishna is teaching Arjuna so many things about qualities you can cultivate. And one more interesting aspect in this adhyay is that why is Krishna telling this? Anybody? Why is Krishna telling this to Arjuna? There are two reasons. Yes.
Arjuna needs to
Be-
perform his duty at this time. He
But
cannot
everybody in
get carried away
Kurukshetra, yes, Anjuji, but everybody in Kurukshetra needs to perform their duty. Why Arjuna only?
because he got in that illusion, वो जो रिश्ते और वो प्यार और
No, but
वो
there
हमने
are
पढ़ा
many
हुआ था
seven.
वो.
There may be so many who may have emotional disturbances, but they did not get selected. Something in Arjuna made him
Because he
selected.
asked.
Because Krishna knew that he is a seeker, and he will eventually understand, and he'll
Okay,
follow
so
and
Krishna
trust
knew
Krishna.
it, is what Anjuji is saying. So onus is on Krishna. So to
It's
know.
it's
No,
Okay,
he
more
Juhiji.
became
on
Okay,
he
Juhiji, and
became
then
it's
come to
more
Vinita.
receptive.
on
Okay, Vinitaji. Fine, Vinitaji. Yes, please. Yes,
He
ma'am.
became receptive. That's what Krishna feels, that now that he's receptive and he's paying attention to what he's saying, now he wants to share the true
Ji.
qualities required.
Okay. Okay, Vinitaji has said because he became receptive. Yes, Juhiji.
I agree to Vinitaji's point. Since he asked, he
Hmm.
only Arjuna asked to Krishna, not everyone asked, Krishna, please guide me. It was Arjuna. So he
Okay.
is telling everything to Arjuna. That's it.
All right. So that is true. And in one more adhyay, Krishna
And
says,
there's one more thing I
Rajrupaji.
wanted to add. Yeah. So, for
Yes, please.
example, he has already talked about yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So, from that point of view, if we see Arjuna is the one who's going to do perform the act of,
Duty.
the duty of establishing dharma, and Krishna is the motivator behind it.
Yeah, but our question
So,
is why Arjuna and why not anybody else?
so
There's one
that's
very
why it's
special factor.
Arjuna. That's why he chose Arjuna as his this thing.
Because he knew he was going to perform the duty, is it?
Yes.
But in that
It's through
actually
him
text,
that this whole of
yes.
dharma will be
So,
established
no, but
again.
then what practical drawing from if I am not Arjuna in Krishna's story, I will not get Gita.
Yeah, then none of them got right.
Okay, so then it is all dependent on Krishna's
Yeah,
ichha.
his picture, his this thing,
Acha.
his plan,
Okay,
his
Raj.
game plan, or whatever you want to
All
call
right.
it.
That is Rajrupaji's
Preparing,
perspective.
yeah, he's,
All right. Aditi ji? Yeah?
he's preparing him for Vishwarup Darshan.
Okay, that is again, you have already advanced knowledge of what's going to come later. So you are able
Or
to say
maybe
that.
he's also trying to say that, see, these qualities your opponents do not have. So
Okay.
you should
Okay.
rise
So
above
maybe
it.
Arjuna has certain qualities which Krishna has seen. In one more adhyay, Krishna has beautifully said, while imparting that knowledge, he says, Bhakto si cheti, because you
Yeah.
are my bhakta. Yeah, Kartik ji wants to add something? Yes, sir.
No, I was just going to say that because one is you are my bhakta and you are my best friend, kind of
Saka,
a
friend,
Sakha.
the Maitri Bhava means you endear yourself close to the divine. You become the bhakta of the divine, then you become patra. So the adhikara, what is the adhikara? You have adhikara, isn't it, to receive the Gita also. What is the authority for you to receive the Gita? Well, it is a bhakti inside. You're able to make the divine your sakha. It's not easy, huh? Everybody think it's so easy. Chalo, pata nahi sakte. We can't make friends among people also. They'll identify us if we are trying to fool or cheat. So it has to come from within. And Arjuna and Krishna, this was the great, what we can say, best, like Ram Lakhan, something like that. Arjuna and Krishna, this was a wonderful pair, a guide and a follower, like that. And so when the two come together, then this happens. Here also, Krishna, in this Adhyaya also, we see a small hint. Why he says, I'll give you words. Yes, somebody wants to add something. Yeah. Who was it? Please go on. No. All right, let's go into the first part. You see, he says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunume paramam vacha yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. Because see, Arjuna, you're loving what I'm saying. I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it. And he says, I am going to use words to give you something. Through words, I will transfer this consciousness. Why? Because you are enjoying it, because you are reveling in it. Your soul is receiving it with merriment. That is why. It means you're deriving the ananda. We will later on see who is dear Bhakta of Krishna. The Bhakta of Krishna is the one who is experiencing Ananda, who is not, he doesn't like crybabies. We saw that, isn't it, in the second Adhyay. Na choji tumar hasi. No, no, Arjuna, this is not right. Big warriors don't cry. Something like parents tell to children. He's been telling that. So here, Arjuna is receiving the knowledge and Arjuna is enjoying. The same thing we see in Kathopanishad. When Yama gives the knowledge, the young Nachiketas, not only does he receive it, not only does he understand it, he starts repeating it same just to, as if it's like, basically Sri Aurobindo says learning is not something which is to be forced. It is about self. When the self starts understanding, learning starts happening. Children, you have to give atmosphere. Rest the children will learn on their own. Create the atmosphere, the child will learn. You're not going to force stuff into the head, something like that. So yeah, Nachiketas was not only listening to Yama, he was understanding and quickly repeating so much. So blessed was Yama. I mean, Yama was feeling blessed and happy to have such a Shishya, such a person. He said it's so rare to have someone who's listening like this, so I'll give you more. And then he gives him that one special necklace, which is again all the powers of Prakriti in it, and it's an interesting story. But that is the case here also in Arjuna. Not only is the Mitra, not only is he friend, but he's also reveling and enjoying. And words are always a medium only. Words are a medium. There are things which are higher than words. They can be conveyed through words also. Words become a vehicle. What is a mantra? Manana trayate iti mantra. By repetition, it protects. How does it protect? What is the phenomenon of protection? It protects the mind, people say. How does it protect the mind? How does mantra protect the mind? Protects it from what? Yes, anybody?
I think it
Karthik?
has a lot to do. I think it has a lot to do with pronunciation and
But
um,
pronunciation, we have heard of people mispronouncing and still getting the protection.
Yeah, mantra will protect us from our own mind.
Okay, mantra protects us from our own mind. So, how is it protecting then? By the words?
Because the words
Words,
have vibrations.
words have vibrations.
Yeah.
But now Karthik ji talked about pronunciation. So, do they have to be words in Sanskrit with certain vibration?
No, bhav also
Or
matters.
it can be something else?
Your
yeah.
intention.
Huh?
Your intention
Okay.
and the bhav.
Bhav, intention, reception, who is speaking, who is telling, who is receiving, what is the consciousness in which it is being received. Sometimes if you're receptive, it will come from the world. World will make somebody, your most biggest enemy will teach you great lesson and move away. Recently, we had some experience in business where one person really took some good big funds from us to offer some particular service. He gave it in such a bad way that we decided we learn this and do it ourselves. So he became the guru for us, isn't it? It became a situation where that person didn't want to teach. We were planning to stick with him for a year or 1.5 years. But within 1 month, this person thought, don't invest an entire year's time. So there are ways of receiving. And words They are just what we can say superficial words, because mantras are also heard. They're called Shruti, no? The real mantras are not just pronounced, they have to be heard. They have to be heard in a state of meditation. Rishis would go into trance and receive these words. Sometimes the words would make sense, sometimes the words would not make sense. Gani Gana Gana Tabote. Anybody has heard of that? Somebody from Maharashtra? Anybody you tell them this is not the mean, there has no meaning, they say. But this was from a great Swami. Anybody? No?
That is from Gajanan Maharaj.
Absolutely, Raviji. Gajanan Maharaj. You would say, yes, sir. You would like to add something? Please, yes, sir. Yes, mute. Raviji is saying something or no? All right. Dr. Vidusha, you be writing something? Gajanan Maharaj from which place? He's from
Shegao.
Shegao. The Yogi Raj from Shegao.
Yeah.
He's called yes, Brahmanda Nayak. What would he was connected in that consciousness? He was connected in that consciousness, and these were his words. If you try to identify, you will not understand. But you go deeper, you will understand it. Yes, the bhaktas got experience from these words only. How is it possible? Well, words also are a conscious medium for traveling of consciousness. We know only words is important for us because we use it for speech. But there are other types of speech which are beyond words. What we call Vaikhari. Then there is something higher than Vaikhari. Madhyama. Madhyama is there. Then higher than Madhyama is Para. Higher than Para is Pashyanti. Pashyanti means to see. Can you see words? Can anybody see words? Yes or no? Actually, we can if we are conscious. Many people use the words I care for you, I love you, all of these. These are words. We don't see them, no? And we say, I'm not seeing this. These are the most least, what we can say, trusted words. People say this, you can always doubt. Because you can see, you don't have to say this. Without saying also, you can understand. How many parents come and tell their children, I love you so much? No, parents come and give one hit, but that hit is enough to express what is that love. Sometimes quietly they come and just, what is this? But you can understand. So something like that, words have a consciousness. I think as beautifully said, somebody said, yes, the four types. So like that, Krishna is using these words. He's going to use examples which Arjuna is familiar with. Why? Because he wants Arjuna to rise to the higher consciousness using these examples. He gave the example of Janaka Raja. Why? Arjuna was aware of Janaka Raja. And then, oh yes, Janaka, look at him. He says, Yad Yad Achariti Shrestha. Meaning sometimes when you know there is an example in your life, you become free, isn't it? You become free. Kichara, this person is living this, this is right how I want to live. Before I knew about Guru Parampara, before I knew anything about Sanatan Dharma, my physics professor was there in school. I still remember Professor Punjabi Kesan. From Loyola College, he had retired. He had lots of stiff neck, like what we can say, spondylitis. He would always be so erect. People would say he's like a robot and whatnot. But he was so wonderful, like a guru for me. My example of guru, what is a guru, I understood from him. And despite his age, he would wait at the lunch break for questions from everybody. And he was not somebody who would say, don't ask me questions which are out of syllabus. He would welcome any question. And I did not go into what we can say physics, deep into physics afterwards. But in my school time, my interest got triggered because of him. What is black light, sir? Why is the sky blue? These are all, somebody would have brushed it off as stupid questions. But the meaning of asking questions, I understood from him. That became the base. So, like that, Krishna is saying, Arjuna, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use these words so you will be able to reach to a state of consciousness which is probably beyond the words also. So listen, Arjuna, and I am telling that to you because you are enjoying it. Because learning happens when you enjoy. It does not happen when you are forced. When you are forced, you actually make compromises with the higher truth also. You're somehow losing the touch, losing the ananda. Ananda is going to become the fuel. It is like a self-generating cycle for learning, growing in consciousness. Experience ananda also. So Arjuna is experiencing. So Krishna says, these are the qualities, as Beenaji wonderfully summarized. Buddhi, Jnana, Asammoha, Shama, Satyam, Dama, Shama, Sukham, Dukkham, Bhavo, Bhava. Understand what is being adventurous, understand what is being foolhardy, what should be feared, what should not be feared also. You understand that. Become fearless also. Remember to follow the principle of ahimsa. But also have mind. You cannot be so trapped in ahimsa that you're going to allow swahimsa. You say, I don't believe in non-violence, so I'm going to become the universal punching bag. Can we do that? That is also violence only. You're believing in a different type of violence towards yourself. You're just changing the type of violence. Somebody else or self. Somebody says it's better to get injured in the self. Is it? Is it? Is it good to injure yourself? Because that person may learn after oppressing me successfully. That person may learn that I cannot successfully oppress another person. No, you are giving the opposite lesson to that person. Ki, chalo, you can oppress me, you will oppress another 10 more people. So the oppressor should be taught. That is why Lokmanya Tilak Maharaj made that slogan, Shatham Pratishathyam. He was a karma yogi. He said, give the language to speak to the oppressor in the language that they understand. You're not supposed to become a punching bag. You're an instrument of the divine. You have a stand of your own. You are representing this divine. So how can you allow yourself to fall? That is something. So Krishna says, these are all qualities. They have come from me. He goes on further. We go to the sixth shloka. Maharshayah sapta purve chatvaro manavastatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka imaha praja. The heavenly Saptarshis, the seven sages, as well as the four Manus of the ancient ages, they are but creations of my impulses, mental, and from them arose all living beings in the physical. So the great Saptarshis, they have also come from my consciousness, is what Krishna is saying. The four Manus, all of them, they have also come from me. They are what? Well, it is just a spark of my chitta. In my chitta, I had that intention, an impulse for creation, and thus I created, is what Krishna is saying. They all arose in the physical from my spark. Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo veti tattvataha savikampena yogena yujjate natra sanshayah. He who understands my principles divine and knows this all-pervading truth that is mine. United in yoga, with me he becomes one. About this, there are doubts none. So what is Krishna saying? This is somebody who understands my principles. Ramliji, when he was very young, it was a lesson. God is. That was the name of the lesson. God is. That's all. Title is that much. What is God? Well, he is. Experience his presence, you become free. You are no more alone. You understand the cosmic play. Maybe as you rise in consciousness, you will begin to understand the cosmic play and you might even become a player. Many times, what happens when we are ignorant? We are also part of the game in ignorance, isn't it? But unfortunately, we become the ping pong balls. Somebody else is playing with us. When we become conscious, then we become the players. We understand the rules. Probably then we are able to influence the outcomes also. Who is the master of the game? Somebody who knows the rules, isn't it? When will you understand the rules? Understand the maker first. Why is made the game? What is the objective? What is everything? When you start getting it becomes clear, you become free. That's what Krishna is saying. The person becomes one when he understands this all-pervading truth. This truth is all-pervading, meaning is that terms and conditions apply. Truth is applicable only in Pondicherry, not outside of Pondicherry. In another city, this truth will not work. Truth is universal. It is everywhere. Any part of the world, it is the same. It is the same. We cannot just say that this is not existing. Everywhere people want to be free, isn't it? Or it's just in certain places in Bharat only people want. Freedom is there. It is a something aspiration. Everyone want it. Why they want it? That Icha also probably divine is only putting inside people so that they experience the what we call emancipation, their rise from the shackles, so that they become. I think some beautiful examples were shared in the group also by Sindhuji as well as one more participant shared about how butterflies example also. Okay, the struggle is required, isn't it? The struggle is required to become strong and grow and rise in consciousness. Krishna says, these principles of mine, if you understand, you become one with me. You become one with me, and let there be no doubt about it. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the birth of all living things that can exist to be, and their growth only proceeds from me. For I set their development into motion. Knowing this, the wise love me with the highest emotion. Krishna says the wise they understand. And what do they do because they understand? Well, they worship the divine because they have understood. They're not fools for worshipping the divine, isn't it? The wisest of wise, why do they bend? Why do they bow? Why do they recognize the supremacy of the divine? It's not some ritual they are following. It's not because they are brainwashed into some cult. Then they would not be wise, isn't it? But yet, you look at so many wise beings across the world, they seek the divine. They worship the divine because they have understood. They have understood the intelligent creator behind the intelligent design. There is this creator. They understand that. And their growth proceeds from me. They understand that without the divine, I am nothing. Na ham karta, hari karta. The divine is the doer. I am just the medium. I set their development into motion. And because of that, what happens is gratitude flows. It is not something like calculation or something. It is just what is gratitude? How does gratitude flow? Anybody? Do we calculate? कि चलो ठीक है, this person has done so much. Because he has done so much, using a particular equation, this much gratitude should come inside of me. So I'm going to share that gratitude. How does gratitude flow? Anybody? Or what is is there a, yes, Anjuji, yes, ma'am.
When you start appreciating and acknowledging each and every person and everything's contribution in your life, like it comes automatically.
You just recognize
Yeah,
recognize it and immediately, no, even less becomes so much more with gratitude. You
exactly.
may have nothing, but suddenly, oh, I have this. This is mine. Fine. Thank you. This came to me from this person. How can I not adore you? How can I not love you? How can I not have this respect? The Bhagwan people realize the presence and experience that love. This is what the wise do, is what Krishna is saying. मच्चित्तः मच्चित्तः मद्गतप्राणा बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. It is natural. It is natural. How can I not worship the divine? That is the bhava. With their consciousness flooded with that of mine, meaning everywhere they are beginning to see the divine's presence. I know of a mechanical engineering professor, Dr. Harshit Dave from Surat, very famous mechanical engineering professor who has published some of the greatest core engineering, mechanical engineering journals, Springer books and all he has published. He is what we can say, a wonderful researcher. He also sings the most beautiful bhajans. He's got such a beautiful singing voice. Many people felt he was actually just a kirtankar when they heard his videos. And then he told me something very interesting because share the same faculty, only I'm no more in that faculty. He's an expert. So I asked him, he said, he saw Sundara kind of Ramayana in what we can say nanoplating. I was like, how can you find this in that? And he gave me a beautiful explanation. The electron movement is similar to the leap of Hanuman. And God knows how he can find that correlation. But who will find it? Only somebody who has got the experience, only somebody who is connected. Otherwise, people say, what is material and mechanical engineering got to do with spirituality or adhyatma? No, adhyatma is everywhere. Sri Aurobindo was told, matter shall reveal the spirit's face in Savitri. We are only creating distinction. We are only creating divide because we are old-fashioned, like Arjuna. He thought spiritual life, material life is different. But Krishna says both are one. That bhed is not required. So such a person, his mind and consciousness is filled with the divine, is what Krishna says. With their consciousness flooded with that of mine, with their life surrendered completely to the divine, meaning surrendering everything in the life. Everything. Best example is Radha, isn't it? Radha Rani, they call her Rani because she's most exalted. Why did she become exalted? Because she surrendered completely to the divine, not in bits and pieces. Surrender is surrender completely. Shraddha, full Shraddha in the divine, that nothing wrong will happen. Can we do that?
Only when things are out of our control, we do it.
At that time, nothing is in our control as
Yeah.
well. So better surrendering. My question is, can you keep something by not surrendering it? Something which doesn't have to stay, no matter what you do, will not stay with you, isn't it? Say you want some person in your life. You don't want to let go of that person. But that person is like going in the opposite direction all the time, despite all your efforts. Can you hold on to that person then? No, it's not possible. In life also, so many things. Some people hold on to their dreams, but they don't have any control. By even author of Sherlock Holmes, he disliked the Sherlock Holmes so much that he killed Sherlock Holmes in a story because he wanted to people to appreciate his other writing. But see, despite being such a great author, nobody appreciated his other writing so much that his mother stopped talking to him because he killed Sherlock Holmes in a story. So he had to bring him back in another story. But throughout his life, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is known for that, but not for what he wanted. So where are we having the choice? He had the skill, isn't it? He had the knowledge. He had the ability to write. But look what happened. So Prithvi has a rule that man cannot control anything. Remember that divine is in control and it's better sometimes surrendering. It is better to surrender. When you surrender, whatever happens, it is a joy. You experience the ananda. Gratitude will flow. As how late Sushma Swaraj would say, Krishna Prasad, Krishna Ichha. Yes, we all want Prasad. Let's aspire for Prasad. But it's okay. Sometimes we don't get Prasad. God's wish may be there. Something, some higher will may be there. Sometimes we wonder, what is it? Why? Why? I don't see any logic. It's all right. Now I don't see any logic. Maybe some years down the line, I see logic. I will see it. You have that much faith. Sometimes respect the questions you don't have an answer to. Don't worry about quickly solving every. Would you writing some entrance exam or getting some gold medal? Whom are you going to show? Answering all your life's questions. Let them be. Let them be. As consciousness rises, the answers will also come. So that is something Krishna is saying. So with their life surrendered completely to the divine, with me only in their dialogues, they go around. Wherever they go, naturally, what will happen when you love somebody or love the divine? Everywhere you will think of the divine only, isn't it? Oh, look at this flower looks divine. Look at this painting looks divine. It is natural that the mind will also go in that direction only. With me only in their dialogues, they go around. Contentment and joy only in their lives can be found because they have surrendered, they have nothing to lose. And somebody who has nothing to lose has only everything to gain. So every moment is a gain. Like researchers also. What happens when their research is complete? It is again. If their research is successful, also it's again. If it's not successful, also it's again. Why? Because science progresses, isn't it? A particular medicine research is done. Hypothesis is there. What is null hypothesis? That this will work. After the research, alternative hypothesis gets proved. It does not work. So everybody understands, "Chalo, this does not work," and it moves ahead. Well, this is something, if you are in that state of consciousness, Krishna says, so only joy and ananda. And wherever you go, you'll only think about the divine. It will come naturally in your talks, much to the annoyance of those who are Nastic or those who are like Hiranyakashipu. unfortunate for them because naturally divine's name will come. Why do you have to always bring the divine? You ask that person also, you cannot. This question was asked to me also by some close person and friend. Why do you have to think about God? Why do you bring God into everything? What can we do? God is in everything, isn't it? How can we not see it? It comes naturally. That is something which Krishna says. He goes on further. Tesham satata yukta nam, excuse me, Tesham satata yukta nam bhajatam purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. This is my favorite shloka. Actually, this is something which Krishna is promising. What is he promising? He says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will give you knowledge. Meaning, if you don't have knowledge, no problem. Boss is there to give. First question is, who can receive knowledge? Somebody who has or somebody who does not have? Somebody who does not have. So the ground was in my case very fertile. I feel Krishna wanted somebody who is brainless. So chalo, theek hai. So he has been doing little krupa. Something like that. Because he says, I will give you the wisdom, I'll give you the knowledge. I remember first time when I was reading the Gita, I was not understanding anything. My guru, excuse me, Damleji at early morning 4:30 he started chanting and I had got up. He saw me looking left, he saw me looking right. He saw after 4 days, 5 days, he said, okay, enough. Now, normally somebody would have felt bad. I didn't feel bad also about it. I was so, what we can say, brainless that it didn't make a difference. That, acha, theek hai, maybe he thought it is not required, so we should not worry. This was nearly 10 years back, maybe more than 10 years back. Yeah, 11 or 12 years ago. He told the time will come. And I did not think that time also, but I would say grace. That chalo, theek hai. There was a story of he took us to Arandi. Anybody knows about Arandi? Sant Jnaneshwar, his Jiva Samadhi is there. And there is Sant Jnaneshwar is known for writing Jnaneshwari, Gita simplified to everybody. And he at a young age he became realized. It is said that if you eat the leaf of one leaf also from that tree, you will get wisdom. So when I was taken there and I heard all, I didn't even know about him before because I had not learnt. But when I went there, I read a book and about him, everything, I was ready. I was like, wow, chalo, this knowledge will come from this leaf. And I thought, no, for us, we'll need veterinary dose. One leaf will not work. We'll have to take 2, 3 leaves. And you're not supposed to pluck leaves, so I would advise everybody never to pluck leaf. But I was a foolish person, so I plucked leaf from the tree, and I ate that. So now afterwards, the Gita came. So whether it came because of Guru Krupa, whether it came because of the leaf, or whether Jnanoba's Krupa or Krishna Krupa, we do not know. But at least Krupa makes it happen is something which I have experienced. Somebody was not capable of writing poetry also suddenly got it. Like that, Krishna says, he says he will help us. He will give it to us for that we have to become receptive. You cannot say, I already know everything, just tell me this much. Say you don't know anything, teach me everything. Transformation will happen. So Takacharya was born by Krupa of, we can say, Adi Shankaracharya or, or Shankara himself, but mainly because the Shishya was fully receptive. That is what Krishna is saying. He says, Tesham Satata Yuktanam, to those yearning for a constant state of union. This is their Shraddha, no? This is their aspiration. And no wind in the world is able to douse that aspiration. Challenges come, no, in sadhana. When you start seeking the divine, you start believing the divine. That time only in the initial stages, you will see winds trying to blow that flame away. Just turn it off. That is what happens. People around you will start telling what nonsense. See, because you are doing this, you are suffering more. There's no point. At all those times, if you are able to keep that, what we can say, sankalpa, you're keeping it firm, then you will rise. You will rise, and that Agni will become the Vaishwanara, the universal Agni. That will happen, is what Krishna says. He says, to those yearning for a constant state of union, with the purest intensity, seeking my communion. To them, Krishna says, to them, those seekers who've been helplessly seeking with full aspiration, earnestly, with full sincerity, Krishna says, to them I give yoga's understanding that sets them apart. Means I'll give that knowledge, I'll give that understanding, and that what I will give will grant a uniqueness inside, is what Krishna is saying, and unites them with me, and they never again part. Meaning after a separation, once that union happens, no, then there is never going to be another separation. Krishna and the Bhakta, oneness is experienced. Krishna says, I will give that understanding. And when that touch has come, after that, it will not go. It will not go, is what Krishna says. Tesham eva tesham eva nukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atmabhavasto jnanadipena bhasvata. Anybody has the habit of lighting a lamp in your home every day? A jyoti, a lamp? Anybody has the habit?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Why do you light the lamp?
It spreads positive
Okay,
vibration.
Rajvikaji says it spreads positive. Okay. Yes, anybody else? One is spreading positivity. Okay. Where do we light the lamp? In a dark place or some place just like that? Or do we lamp in front of our Aradhya? In front of
Yeah,
our Ishta?
to
Yeah?
eradicate darkness in our lives.
Okay. But
It
where
is
do we
a
light the
symbol
lamp?
in front
It's
of a temple.
In
tamso
front
ma
of our...
jyotirgamaya.
Okay. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya asato ma satgamaya mrityor ma mrutam gamaya. That is the symbolic aspect. We want this light of knowledge to dispel darkness completely. And where do we light the lamp? We light the lamp in front of our Aradhya only. Sometimes in front of our Guru's photo, if the Guru has reached higher, what we can say, the higher realms. He's no more on the Srishti. But sometimes this lighting of lamp is indicatory of lighting another type of lamp on the inside, isn't it? We are trying to do that. We are trying to light that lamp. We are trying to sincerely light a lamp of knowledge. So ignorance and darkness disappears. They say Mother Lakshmi gets prasanna in light because things become clearer. There is prosperity. There is the spread of what we can call positivity as well. Well, here Krishna is talking about another lamp being lit, but he's not telling that we have to light it. Who is going to light? Let us look at this sloka. Tesham eva nukampartham. For them, my compassion begins to stem. For whom? He's referring to those in the 10th shloka, he told, isn't it? Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will grant you that wisdom. I will give the buddhi. I will awaken that consciousness. And how does it happen? He says, because the compassion of the divine only flows. In my case, it would have been pity. But it flowed. That was enough for me. I don't care. Compassion, pity, whatever, let it flow. That is important. I remember crying in front of this Buddha's statue, photo, one murti, and reciting Shiva Tandav and saying, see, even Ravana got a role to play. When will I get negative role? Bhi chalega. Picture mein to le lo. Something needs. We need something. Well, that is exactly how we should try to connect. Of course, not by crying. That's a sentimental lower emotional thing. That time it was, my brain was not so, I mean, it was not comprehending that. But without that also, with our full Shraddha and Bhavana, if we connect with the divine, Krishna says, I will light that lamp. Experience that. It is experienced by so many. Why we say this mantras are there? Mukam kalo karoti vacha. And they're not for lip service. They are truth. They are truths which have been experienced by people. Yat kripa tamam mande paramananda madhava. Because when that kripa comes, it's only ananda. So the taste of Ananda, when are we going to experience? We don't have to keep listening from somebody else, somebody else's story. When is it going to be our story? We have only one life, isn't it? So what are we waiting for? Now, this is the time we should seek. And so Krishna says, because of the sadhana, because of the yearning, because of the intensity, because of the purity, the compassion flows, is what Krishna says, from the divine to the seeker. For them, my compassion begins to stem. And from where does it flow? From within only. He's sitting inside, isn't it? He's watching you. He's participating in your life. From within the self that resides within them. The lamp of knowledge within them I ignite, and the ignorance of darkness disappears by my light. So Krishna says, see, he's not asking us to light that lamp. He says, I'll come and light that lamp for you. The Aradhya is just reversing the roles. Every day we light for the Aradhya. But he says, see, when that threshold is breached, no, you have done your sadhana, you have how the Buddha talked about accumulation of virtues. It is as if there's a pitcher or there's a vessel, which every time you accumulate virtues, it starts getting full. So when it becomes full, then there is a flow of what? Flow of what we call somras only. It will spread everywhere. So Krishna says, at that point, you have reached that stage, and I will come myself to light that lamp. He says, and because of that lamp, ignorance will disappear because my light will then shine, is what Krishna is saying. After this, Arjuna speaks. 8th Adhyay onwards, Arjuna is different. Let us see if he is continuing to be different or he is becoming radically different right now. Let us see.
So
Yes,
Shri,
Karthik.
excuse me. Quick question. What is the meaning of the word Tesham?
Tesham means for them,
For them. Okay.
for those people. Those in the
Okay.
sense that refer to the previous shloka where
Right,
Krishna
right.
said, no, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Those
Correct.
people who are connected at all times in consciousness.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Arjuna Uvacha. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum. Some pujari has come in place of Arjuna, it looks like that. Suddenly Arjuna's bearing only is changed. He is doing a stuti of Krishna, which is unbelievable. What is he saying? He's saying Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. A brilliant composition, by the way. Arjuna said, thou art the immaculate Brahman supreme. Thou art the permanent one of the highest esteem. Thou art the divine Purusha, the supernal God, unborn. Thou art the all-pervading Lord. We'll continue. He is giving the highest stuti possible right now. आहुस्त्वां ऋषयः सर्वे देवार्षि नारदस्तथा असितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैव ब्रवीषि मे. This, the wisest of sages have thus said, when thy words they have sought to spread. Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa, the seers have portrayed, and O Lord, thou hast to me explained. Oh, it's again Arjuna is looking different, isn't it? His dialogues. He's saying, see, this is what the great seers talked about. Was he in some group and suddenly got message from all these sages suddenly? I do not know, but he says the wise sages have said. It's obviously from before, isn't it? They have not come right now to tell him. But maybe when they told him that time, he didn't realize it. Many times we hear something that remains in our mind, in our consciousness, in the back of the mind. It doesn't connect. Dots remain scattered. Suddenly, when the dots connect and you suddenly become surprised, oh no, that moment, that was one moment, that was another moment. Right, right. I can now see, I can see the chain of things, I can see the chain of event. Something like that looks like it's happening, maybe. But it is interesting. It says, when thy words they have sought to spread. They have sought to spread your words, is what Krishna is saying. Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, these are all great rishis. They have all said, Arjuna is saying, the seers have portrayed your greatness. And O Lord, thou hast to me explained. You have explained to me. I can understand why they were doing stutis of you. Why Shuklam, Varadaram, Vishnum, Shashivarnam, Chaturbhujam. I can understand all of these, probably whatever stutis he has heard of Narayana, he is now able to see the Narayana, maybe, or maybe he is not able to see. But and right now his words are brilliant. He's also using his words probably for something else. Let us see what is he using. Krishna is using it for higher consciousness. Let's see what Arjuna is. Or I may be wrong. I have this tendency to be suspectful. So let us see. Sarvam etad Rutam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva na danava. Whatever it is that is spoken by thee, for my mind, that is only the truth that can be. This is too much. This Arjuna had once told, no, how can I believe what you are saying, that you instructed the Surya, you instructed Vivaswan. I don't believe you. He's now doing a full opposite turn, U-turn. He's saying this, he's saying, whatever you speak, that is Rutam. Rutam is what? Rutam is the highest truth which is there in the Rig Veda. Sri Aurobindo describes it as a part of the Trinity. Satyam, Rutam, and Bruhat. Just like how Sat, Chit, Ananda is there, no? Like that Satyam, Rutam, and Bruhat. Because when you focus on this Rutam, what is the highest truth? Truth consciousness is also yours. But the thing is, as it enters into you, it starts becoming wide, wide like the skies. That is why it's called Bruhat. So that is, he's saying, your words, they are Rutam to me, is what he's saying. But oh Lord gracious, neither God nor Titan about thy manifestations can they enlighten. He says, no, but hey Bhagwan, neither the Deva nor the Danava can actually describe about you completely. Why? Because he's Adi Deva, before the Devas and the Danavas. There's something called Aditya Rudaya, a beautiful mantra about the Surya. There, Rashmimantam Samudyantam Deva Sura Namaskrutam Pujayami Vivaswantam Bhaskaram Bhuvaneshwaram. Means even Deva and Asura both will surrender in front of that light. So powerful it is. Where is the Deva? Where is the Asura? They stand nowhere in front of this supreme truth. So he says, no, nobody can tell me about you. He goes on further. स्वयमेवात्मनात्मानं वेत्था त्वं पुरुषोत्तम भूतभावन भूतेश देव देव जगतपते. Did Arjuna do some correspondence poetry course? Suddenly he is doing stuti after stuti. Each shloka is better than the previous in stuti of the divine. He says, Deva Deva Jagatpate. O greatest supreme one, it is only thee who knows thyself completely. For all creations and beings, thou art the Lord, overlord of the world. Even for the gods, thou art the God. Even for the Deva, you are the Deva. Hey Jagatpate. My question is, what do you make of this transformation of Arjuna's behavior? Anybody? Highly suspect or understandable, logical? Anybody? Yes? Because it's only Stuti right now, whatever Arjuna spoke.
Sir, after so much of preach, now he is starting to understand what Krishna is trying to say, I guess.
Okay, now he's probably trying to understand. So it is just a sakshatkar already. Okay, that is what Sindhuji is saying. Sindhuji, you have a son or daughter, isn't it? You have a child that is
Two daughters, sir.
two daughters. No, two daughters. So when your daughters suddenly get into good girl mode, what do you understand?
Uh, I may doubt a little bit in the
You doubt a
beginning.
bit, no? Why do they do it? Because they want something, isn't it? Chocolate is wanted or ice cream or something.
Yeah,
Suddenly they behave, right? Can
yes.
we use something similar analogy? That Arjuna wants something, so he's speaking so much, so nicely. Maybe,
Maybe.
maybe, all right. So, okay, let us see. Sindhuji says this is okay. She agrees with this because I doubt Arjuna's sudden changes can happen, true. But this much, maybe there is something. He is understanding it all, that is fine. He's not lying. We're not doubting his sincerity. But sometimes there's something mishram, isn't it? Little bit of mixture of some emotions also is there, sincerity is there. So it is something like that. Because next shloka, it becomes very clear. The cat is out of the bag. Why is he saying all of this? Next shloka, he says, Vaktumarhasya eshesh Vaktumarhasya sheshena Divya hyatma vibhutayaha Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan Imam stvam vyapya tishtasi. I solicit ye to completely tell of all thy manifestations, that in the world dwell thy richest of forms that the mortal realm has received, without exception, do reveal all that can be perceived. That is why he's saying nobody knows except you, because I want you to tell me. Shraddha is there, full Shraddha is there, but he says, now, Krishna, you're God, no? Now you have to tell me. Tell me about where I can identify your vibhutis, your representatives. This is also a very practical approach of Arjuna. Tell me in this Bhuloka where I can see you. If I can see you in the Bhuloka, Devaloka, I will be saying you only, that is sure. But in this Bhuloka, where are the representatives of the divine? Krishna's perfect instrument is there, Arjuna, and Arjuna is a good example how we should also be in our sadhana. Every time you see Arjuna is grounded. Arjuna appears like a young boy or a young, innocent child, like in his behavior. But he's actually a very strong person with great dexterity, great concentration, who has done great tapa. He is like a hero already. But in front of his Aradhya, he has become a child. So there, in that childlike state also, he has not lost. Means there's something what we can say a childlike innocence is important, but maturity also is required, isn't it? That maturity should not be. And here he is clear. Yat Shreyaha, like the arrow, he has to fire into the center, no? Like that. He says, I want to understand what is right. Yes, yes, you talked about Atman. Tell me how is it practical now in this way. So like that, now his target is to experience, to understand the Brahman. But he wants to understand the Brahman in the Srishti, in the Bholoka. This is also in sync with what the Isha Upanishad talks about in levels of realization. First is this realization that must be got. Or after Soham Asmi and all comes afterwards. This realization of the divine in the Bhuloka. If you cannot recognize in the divine, which other loka, if you're not in this Bhuloka, if you're not going to recognize the divine, you're going to turn away from the divine here. In Devaloka, will you find him? No, you will not. First, see, you will be sent again and again till you find him here. Then your next journey will start. So this is something which we must recognize. Krishna is very nicely cornered by his bhakta and his friend. I don't think he can escape the way he has cornered him. Let us see. This is without exception to reveal. This is also one kind of adhikar, no? Maitri. Maitri is an adhikar. It can be utilized. Shouldn't it be utilized? Or we say we shouldn't be utilized. No, 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 utilize it. And if you have Maitri with the Deva, you have the 100% right to utilize it whichever way you feel. He is ultimately going to give you consequences. That is a different story. But your side, you are free. Katham vidyamaham yogims tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosu bhagavan maya. Chintyosi bhagavan maya. Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. So which bhava, which form should I do chintanam on? Which form? You have taught me about two techniques of meditation. That's fine. But which form should I meditate upon when I'm doing meditation? Tell me, Krishna. He is asking him. Katham vidyamaham yogims. How is it that I can know and unite with thee? You have been talking about becoming one. Tell me, Krishna, how can I become one with you? How can I know you? By always meditating in all places upon you. Should I every time do dhyana everywhere I go? And that time I should focus on you? What are the embodiments that I should aspire to see? Which form should be contemplated upon by me? Tell me some forms which I will understand so I can do dhyana, so I can focus on you. What happens when you meditate on the divine? Anybody? How does it help us in life? Yes.
You unite with the universal consciousness and
Ji, sir.
get energized fully. You receive all
Energized, no,
that.
sir? Ji, ji,
Yeah.
ji. So we get that energy, we experience that. Because chalo, the divine is here, and suddenly a burst of energy comes into you. Imagine if you learned about so many forms which you can focus and draw your energy. What will happen then? Battery full charged all the time. Something like that. So here, Arjuna is asking, tell me which forms also I can think of. How can I relate to you? Which form can I see and say, yes, it is you. You are there. Vistarenam mano yogam vibhutim cha janardana भूयः कथय तृप्तिर्हि शृण्वतो नास्ति मे mrutam. It is amrutam for me, is what Arjuna is saying. Tell me, Krishna, tell me, he's asking. O Father of all peoples, lucidly please explain of your yoga and thine forms that in this world reign. Eager I am to hear your manifestations. More the better. To my insatiable thirst, this is an immortal nectar. Krishna is being told by Arjuna, tell me, and tell me in detail, in full vista, give me the full explanation, he says. This is immortal nectar to my thirst. I am thirsty. Darshando Ghan Shamunath Muri Akhiyan Pyasi Re. What is the meaning of that bhajan? The thirst has come. When the thirst has come, then that thirst has to be quenched. Who will quench it? The divine only has to quench it. So Arjuna says, Krishna, tell me, please tell me clearly. Oh Father, oh Jagatpati, you are the Father of the world. Please. In this, you see how he is able to recognize. See, Krishna is his friend also, isn't it? But here he is able to recognize his higher Rupa also. He's understanding that, Kichalo, behind this friend also I can see you are this. So is there any doubt in Arjuna's head right now? Whatever doubts are there, they have permanently been obliterated by Krishna's answers. Whatever Arjuna had those doubts. So now he is asking the right questions. If he had asked this question earlier, he could have got it before also. But that is a problem, isn't it? The right questions don't come until the doubts are cleared. That is why we have to seek and we have to go to that point where all our doubts will vanish. So that then the slate is empty. When the slate is empty, then you can write something in it, isn't it? And let the divine come and write whatever he wants. Let that slate be empty on the inside. No sanskaras. Just waiting for Divya sanskara. Divine sanskaras will take place then. So I'll ask Sindhuji only one question because we equated Arjuna to her daughters. So Sindhuji, when daughters behave in a very good mode, you know that they want something. Do you yield? Because they have behaved very, very nicely.
Yes, yes, sometimes.
Sometimes,
Out of
yes,
love.
isn't it? This is too much. I want to cultivate, I want to encourage this behavior in my child. Okay, I will listen. It's not worthy. It's all right. Maybe for 2 hours you both have not fought with each other. But I will appreciate it so you keep increasing it. And you allow it, isn't it? So same way, do
Yes.
you think Krishna will also encourage Arjuna's question and start revealing vibhutis?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so let
Now,
us see. Today we stop here today because Krishna will start what we call the Vibhuti Darshana. Yes, anybody can summarize something, you are welcome. After which we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Yes, please, anybody. If we can summarize what we saw today. All right, Chitraji again to the rescue. Yes, yes, please.
So we begin to hear from Krishna that the seven Saptarishis and the Manus were all his creation. And then one who understands the principles of the divine and who also understand that the pervading truth is the divine, he becomes united with the divine. And he also says that he is the birth of all living beings and he's the one who can foster their growth. So, one who realizes this will love the divine unconditionally. And those who have a firm sankalpa for being united with the divine with pure intention. He gives them that wisdom, and he should never take that back. There's no way that they're going to part ways.
So, yes, just
So,
one question is then the one who is thinking of the divine, the one who is thinking of the divine at all times, that person in the dialogues, divine keeps coming, isn't it? Means the person's dialogues will always, attribution will always come to the divine, isn't it? Is it done purposely?
no, I mean, once you become conscious, I think it just keeps
It happens.
coming.
So it is not a purpose. Nobody can accuse that person of purposely. You are telling this to irritate me, or enough. I have told you not to talk about God again and again. Still, you are talking about it. What to do? This has happened, isn't it? Action, reaction. You have fever, temperature will go up. Something like that. Bhakta has got bhakti, then divine's name will come. Anybody who has a problem should hear the story of Hiranyakashipu. What happened to him? He had a problem. And that really became a big problem afterwards. So please continue. Yes, Ji. I hope I didn't interrupt. Yes, please. Ji.
Yeah. So he also says that he lights the lamp within and eradicates the darkness, and the compassion from within begins to flow. So,
From the
and
divine to
then,
the bhakta, no? From the divine.
yes, from the
Ji.
divine to the bhakta. And then we see that Arjuna is in all praises to Krishna, that he realizes that he's the divine Purusha. And this is what the wisest seers have been saying, like Vyasa and Naradaji, and all those things. They have explained the same as what he starts to realize. And he praises Krishna that he is the knower of all, and requests Krishna, what are all the manifestations of the Brahman on the Bhuloka, and how should he meditate upon him always? So
Ji.
this is what.
Yes. So he says, tell me and tell me more. Tell me as much as you can, because for my thirst, for my ears, each and every word of yours, it is like Amrit. It is Amrit. This is Shruti, no? This is real Shruti, and properly, and that time when reception happens like this, no? Then there's no wastage. That is why they say Guru Parampara, it is something so beautiful in our Sanatan Dharma. That is why it has survived. Because there the reception is, it is breaking all laws of physics also. No loss in transmission. Electrical lines also have transmission power loss. What about human beings? But no, when it is Guru Shishya, sometimes transmission is perfect. Sometimes by Guru's Kripa, Guru wants Shishya to go ahead of the Guru, so it becomes 110% there. What I have received here, plus you received from that source where I received 100. So that is how the journey goes on. It is not like Guru keeps little bit. I have to keep one secret. Otherwise, my student will start showing he's smarter than me. If this happens in many universities also, isn't it? Professor doesn't teach everything because these are all secret. You will need to experience afterwards, not now. And then that student never gets that experience. So he teaches his student 80% of what 80% he knows. Finally, over generations, what happens then? Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows what is being told. But that is not in our Sanatan Dharma. That is why it is, we say, Vande Guru Parampara. All our gurus are there who have been teaching selflessly. For what? For that consciousness to spread. For what? Again, for Lokasangraha only. Because when are we going to get happy? When everybody around us are going to be free. When we are going to experience, then we will work for higher consciousness when the world is also awakened, isn't it? So that is important aspect. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, the final prayer which we do is also, in a way, a very selfish prayer, isn't it? When will I be happy? When my sister is happy, when my brother is happy, when my friends are happy. If somebody has a problem, that will trouble me. So I want to be happy. For that reason, I'm saying Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, let everybody become happy. So if mantras can become Siddha by japa and repetition, isn't this a beautiful mantra to make it Siddha in our life? Then we might become like Buddha also. When Buddha would move around him, that consciousness of peace would spread. So let us try. So anyway, let us conclude with the Shanti mantra. Next would be our session that is tomorrow on the Vibhuti Darshana. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम पुनर्मिलामः हरि ओम जय श्री कृष्ण नमस्कार एनी क्वेरीज यू वेलकम
हरिओम
हरि ओम जी
हरिओम
नमस्ते
सर
हरि ओम सर हरि ओम जी
Hariom, sir.
हरि ओम हरि ओम
Hello.
हरि ओम yes if there are no queries I'll conclude today's session